Yo guys, before we get straight into the video, I just want to say we are hosting a giveaway of 2 different fruits, Ito and Suna, in the Discord right now. It ends tomorrow, so you guys have a chance to join it. Link down in the description below to join the Discord. Alright, let's get straight into the video, boys. Alright boys, you see by the title, we are ranking all fighting styles again. I did this like 3 or 4 months ago, but the reason I'm doing this again is because ever since Gpo has been added in the Valentine's update to every fighting style, I think that ranking has changed quite a bit. Like, a lot has changed, bro. So now fighting styles that used to be considered good because there was really not as much competition are now considered not as good because other fighting styles just shine more. Like, the lists have changed kind of drastically in my opinion. Okay, so getting into first, obviously this should come as no surprise. I did this in my last one, I'm doing it in this one. Basic combat. This is the combat you spawn in with the game and it'll instantly get replaced and you'll never be able to get it back as soon as you go to a different fighting style. Literally only has 2 moves, has no usability, and it's just pretty much completely useless in every single applicable way. So that's why this is obviously getting the worst on this list by far. There's literally nothing you can do with it. Nothing you can do. Next one is Rokushiki. This one might be really shocking to a lot of people considering Rokushiki was my top 2 in the last list. So what's changed significantly since then? Well, ever since the Roku dash nerf, Roku lost a lot of its steam and it was really only good for mobility and the fact that it had Gpo, which made it special in its own unique way. Obviously at that point Blackleg was better than Roku in every single way, in my opinion at least. But now it's just like, now that we have 2 sword style with Gpo, 1 sword style with Gpo, even Fishman style with Gpo, there's really not much reasons to use Rokushiki in PvP. It gets outshined in a lot of ways. Now you could argue that the Roku dash is still good, and that's true, it is still good. And there's still some things you can do with Roku, but in my personal opinion, I feel like Roku just gets outshined in every single way. It's not a terrible fighting style. That's not what I mean by putting it down this low. I'm just saying there's better fighting styles. A lot better fighting styles. Alright, next in line is the Mink fighting style. Now Mink gets above Rokushiki for a couple of different reasons. I mean, Mink has always been a decent fighting style. It's just it was one thing, the lack of mobility. We all know Mink had the brain dead combos, the wall combos, as you guys are seeing right now in this old footage. Mink's always had those type of combos. It was just lacking something crucial, which was mobility. That was the one thing really holding down Mink, in my opinion, the mobility. Now, do I think Mink is much better than Rokushiki? I don't think it is much better than Rokushiki. I just believe it is simply slightly better right now because there's more stuff you can actually do with Mink than Rokushiki at the moment. I've been seeing some actual brain dead combos with Mink. Hiei Mink with some crazy stun builds, and now that it has mobility, you can actually do crazy stuff with it overall. Like, I think people are still underestimating Mink. For good reasons. I would say it still definitely does need some buffs because the stun is kind of low on some moves. However, you can't argue that you can do more with Mink than you can with Rokushiki right now, and that alone is giving me enough reason to put, Mink above Rokushiki at the moment. Mink's got a bunch of brain-dead combos, but they're still better fighting styles, and that's why I kind of landed where it landed right here. Now we have 1 sword style. Now, despite how, I guess, low it placed, I think 1 sword style is in an amazing spot. The amount of stuff you can actually do with 1 sword style amazes me. Just the other day when I was doing a Ito 2SS video, I ran into a 1 sword style Magru user that actually had like well over like 700 plus wins. He was really good. He had tons of different combos. Between the high damage output of 1 sword style and the combos of Magru, it pairs together well. And as you guys can see in this old footage right here, I'm using 1 sword style with Horo. This was even before the Gpo changed to all fighting styles, and this was still a crazy combo. Now, one thing you guys need to know about 1 sword style is it has higher M1 damage multiplier than 2 sword style. Foyu did a nerf to 2 sword style where when you're wielding 2 weapons, the M1 damage is weaker, however the moves are the same. 1 sword style does not have this issue. It has really high M1s and the moves are all higher as well. Now, you guys probably are thinking, well, if I have only good things to say about 1 sword style so far, why did I place it this low? There is one thing that's slightly lacking, and that's just combo ability, or at least as good as combos as the rest of the fighting styles on this list. While 1 sword style is extremely good, and it would be a mistake to underestimate it, I just think the later fighting styles on this list are slightly better. One Sword style does have its fair share of really good combos though, such as, you know, pairing Dragon Blaze straight into Shishi Son. And now that Shishi Son has Hyper Armor, you can actually snag those up a little more. Having mobility with this is really good feat though. You can both farm and do PvP very well with One Sword style. Again, it would be a mistake to underestimate it. I just feel like the ones later on this list are just ever so slightly better than One Sword style. But don't get me wrong, you cannot go wrong with picking One Sword style in the current meta. So don't be afraid to do that. So now we down on the top 3. And these were kind of the hardest choices to choose for me. And they may be hot takes, so if you guys disagree, it's completely fine. I feel like all of these are pretty close to each other, and that's why they're kind of hard for me to place. But next one on the list is Blackleg. Now, I don't think the other two on second or first are much better than this. However, it's just a slight difference. Now, let's go over the feats of Blackleg. Obviously, recently, well, a couple months ago, the Blackleg M1s got uncapped. So now Blackleg can get like, you know, 50 plus M1s. Demon Step got a buff, so Demon Step is actually pretty solid when you think about it. Pretty solid choice to go for in my opinion at least. And then not to just mention the versatility of Blackleg. Being able to pair well with no matter what build or fruit you go with. The damage it has with the moves and, you know, obviously the damage scaling. The ability to even transform into Diablo Jambe. No other fighting style has a transformation that you're able to do. So, you know, that makes it unique in its own ways. However, there are some things. On why it didn't get top 2 or top 1. Ever since the Gpo change, fighting styles that really stood out to me are Two Sword style and Fishman, right? Which obviously, as you guys know, since those are the last 2 even fighting styles available, those are 2 in 1. But there's one thing we're also forgetting about as far as Blackleg that happened a couple months ago. The party table kick nerf. Party table kick was a huge thing that made Blackleg like really broken before the nerf. You were able to combo extend the party table kick as well as, you know, get a bunch of damage and a whole another M1 combo off after that. They've nerfed that. Now, does that matter much to Blackleg? No, not really. And it didn't really affect Blackleg as much as people, you know, thought it would. However, if it still had that, I feel like this would definitely take top 1 just because of that combo extending. That would be like actually busted. However, we no longer have that. I don't think there's a big difference in number 2, number 1 versus Blackleg right now. I think it's just a slight, ever so slight difference in my opinion. Blackleg is definitely really good, really versatile, both PvP and PvE. And, you know, it's crazy the amount of stuff you can do with it. Being able to pair with any fruit, like everyone, you can use Blackleg with any fruit and still be good. You can even use Blackleg as a fruitless with Diablo Jambe and still do really good. So, I don't know, man. I really like Blackleg, and I wanted to place it higher, but these last 3 were just really difficult for me to place, I'm not gonna lie. Number 2 on this list, Two Sword style. This will probably come as no surprise. Two Sword style was a beast of a fighting style the day it came out, and it is even now. Even before it got the Gpo change, this was a beast of a fighting style. You didn't even need a fruit to compete with low gear users with this fighting style. The amount of damage output it has, combo extenders, literally up like 4M1 up tilt into Raging Whirl just gives you a whole nother M1 combo. The amount of damage you can do this with is crazy. Like, Two Sword style has been brain dead. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows Two Sword style is absolutely brain dead. Now, the one thing about Two Sword style is the M1 damage scaling nerf. This doesn't really matter much, but the M1 damage is basically lower. The moves are the same. The reason this was actually happened is because it was actually kind of dumb brain dead. The fact that, like, you know, with Two Sword style is already broken. Regardless of the M1 damage, it's already broken due to the moves, combo extending, etc. You guys get the gist. But before, you could have like literally like 54, 57 M1 damage while still doing all that other crazy combos and stuff. So I feel like this nerf was actually kind of needed for Two Sword style to balance it out and not make it absolutely busted. But now that Two Sword style has Gpo, the mobility, you could actually like do so much more crazier stuff. Not to mention pairing it together with fruits. You pair together Two Sword style with a fruit that doesn't take much points. An example would be like Gura, Zushi, Ito. You guys get the gist pretty much. Fruits like those are actually crazy. Even Goro Two Sword style. Goro Two Sword style is also a crazy combo. I feel like I don't really need to say much on this. We all know Two Sword style is a different beast. It was already really broken beforehand, before even getting this Gpo buff. So just imagine it now, boys. Imagine it now with the mobility that it was lacking. Because that was the only thing that Two Sword style really ever lacked, the mobility. the mobility to, you know, keep up with the other fighting styles. It just overshines a little bit over Blackleg in my opinion, not only for PvP, PvE with the mobility, like I just feel like it is overall better. The Toryu Strike, 72 caliber Phoenix, even has a counter to boot, has a really good ult as well. Like every single moveset and two-sword style is actually beautiful. Like it's actually really good. So this fighting style goes hard no matter how you really look at it. Fishman Karate. Now, literally in my last ranking all fighting styles video, I said straight up, if Fishman Karate had Gpo, it would be the best fighting style in the game, and that's probably why it doesn't have Gpo. Literally, I'll play it right now. And in my opinion, if this had Gpo, easily this would be the best fighting style in the entire game, which is probably a good reason why it doesn't have Gpo. I literally said it right there, that if this fighting style had Gpo, it would be easily the best fighting style in the game, in my opinion. Let's just go down the list of the broken stuff with Fishman. First of all, the M1 scaling. You only need 375 points to get 60 M1 damage with Fishman Karate. Now this is probably due to the fact that Fishman in the anime have really strong fists and really strong punches, so they wanted to be a little accurate to that. I don't think this will be getting a nerf just because the M1 range is pretty low, however the damage is crazy. Next thing, combo potential, 5,000 brick fist, easy guard break similar to Collier. Now that it has Gpo, basically you have a Walmart version of Collier that actually works pretty, it literally works the same as Collier. I've already tried it out. Water Prison, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Literally, there's not really much reason to use the rest of the Fishman Karate moveset, but Water Prison opens up a door of many different combo potential that a lot of people haven't even, you know, discovered all the combo potential you can do with Water Prison. But let's get into the other moveset just because I personally love using the other moveset as well. Shark Barrage, Water Serpent, and Water Bomb. Another interesting thing about Fishman Karate is that most of its moves, other than 5,000 brick fist, all hit through Logi Bar. You don't need Haki with it. Fishman Karate was also good as a fruitless build. I smacked up some people as fruitless with Fishman Karate. I think this is the best fighting style in the game, not by far, you know, not by much. As I said earlier, I think that the rest of the fighting styles on this list are pretty close to top 3, not much better, but the versatility with it is crazy. First of all, the different builds. You got Fishman Zushi, Hiei Fishman, Tori Fishman, Magu Fishman, Mera Fishman. I've personally tried out every single build I just listed, and they were all brain dead because of Water Prison, 5,000 brick fist, the M1 damage scaling, and all of the above. Now, I think Fishman is better paired up with fruits that don't require much points. I also tried out Ito Fishman, which is also pretty brain dead as well, as you guys seen in my video. Overall, I think this is just a really good fighting style. Like, no matter how you look at it, Fishman's broken. Fishman's just actually broken, bro. I don't have any other words to describe it other than it's busted. From the M1 damage scaling to the combo potential, now it has crazy mobility. You can't go wrong with this. Of course, this is just my opinion. I know some people still think Fishman's not good, but hey man, it is what it is. Let me know what y'all thought about this list down in the comments below. Obviously, whenever it comes to tier lists and rankings, opinions definitely affect how people view it. Experiences also affect how people view it as well. So obviously, if you guys disagree with my lists, you know, that's completely fine. I don't really mind. You know, everyone has an opinion and a voice to be heard for a reason. But that's just kind of where I felt everything should be placed. Again, we are doing a giveaway in the Discord, which ends tomorrow. So if you guys want a chance to win an Ito or a Suna, which I do have in my inventory right now, as you guys can see, Suna and Ito, join that. Other than that, hopefully y'all having a great day, and I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Peace.